Hey all, just a quick video on the color moods exercise, which is getting us into project 2, where we start to talk about color. And I know we haven't had time to go over this too deeply in class, so I just wanted to touch on it. For those of you, it'll be pretty straightforward. For some of you, it might be pretty straightforward. For others, you might need a little bit of extra assistance here, so this will be a pretty quick video. But if you're in your assignment section and you click on the color moods exercise, which is under exercises, which is the only posting under exercises, you'll see the overview here, and you'll have the PDF attached here. So it says as demonstrated in class. Just disregard that because that's from ideally we have it demonstrated, but we haven't had the opportunity yet. So this template is going to be pretty straightforward. You're going to use CMYK color mixes in Adobe Illustrator. I do want you to think, there are going to be some obvious connections to color. If you feel strongly enough about a choice, then put it in there, but I just want you to put some real thought into it. Sometimes while some of the color assignments that we think about, you might think about some obvious ones right out front. Sometimes if you with a little more exploration, better options present themselves. Okay, and that's true for so many things in the creative process, right? So I do want you to take some time, apply some thoughtful decision making to your color choices. As I said, is on a separate sheet, you're going to have descriptions for your color choices. So let's say you choose for, one of the words is mood. So for that, you're going to put mood, and then under that, you're going to give me a little few sentence kind of description over why you chose that particular color. Okay, what your thoughts were. You're going to have that printed, and you're also going to have the color grid printed out as well. So you're going to have two sheets stapled together and brought in on the next class. So we'll post those up and talk about them as a class. Okay, so to access this file, I'm going to click on the PDF here. It's going to give you an opportunity to save it. I know some people, depending on your browser and what's happening and preferences set up, some people click on that file and it actually opens right up as a PDF, or it opens up, say if you're on a Mac, it opens up in preview. If that's the case, just file and save as, and it'll give you an opportunity to save a copy and then save it to your desktop or something. Okay, so no fear there. It's either going to pop right up here for you like this, and you can save it wherever you want, or it's going to open up in a PDF viewer of some sort, Preview or Acrobat. Then just save it as, and then you can open it in Illustrator by just dragging it into Illustrator. Okay, so I've already selected this and saved it to my desktop. If I go to my desktop, files right here, I'm going to click and drag this into Illustrator. 2018, that's embarrassing. I never update my apps, or very rarely do I do. So here's my template basically that's provided to you. And it's pretty straightforward. All you're going to do is if these are all selectable. The type, you don't have to worry about moving that because those are locked. All the words are already locked. And they are in outline, so it should be showing up for you like this here. So you shouldn't have any issues with type default issues and all that, because these are made into outlines. They're not even fonts anymore, and they're locked. So all you have to do is click on your square and assign the colors you want. Okay. Very simple to do that. You can do a couple things. I mean, you have swatches here that are set up for you, and these are some pre-loaded default swatches. Okay, if you wanted to use those. Okay, so if you want to open some other color options, you can go into Open Swatch Library, and you have all kinds of you have more neutral patterns or metal tones, etc., earth tones. You can go into color books. We've been talking about Pantone, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in your next project phase, or project 2 phase 1. You can see that you can open different Pantone books here, etc. Probably more than we need to worry about now, but that's just an option for you under Open Swatch Library. If you're on your swatches palette and you click on your little options drop down here, that's where you can open Swatch Library and have all these different options. Okay, if you're not seeing your swatches here, just go under Window and go down to Swatches, and it should pop up for you. If it's checked, that means it's somewhere visible, or open at least. Sometimes it's not always visible. Sometimes it's open. We don't know where it is. So it's sometimes helpful to go down to this drop down. And if you click it and it goes away, at least you can see where it was, okay? So that's something to consider. If you want to not just use your swatches palette, you want to assign custom colors. If you just go to Window, Color, okay? Here's our color mixer. And you're going to see it gives you options, RGB, CMYK, your web safe RGB, all that stuff. You're going to worry about CMYK, and your CMYK values are going to be loaded here, okay? So if I go to my first square, and if I want to maybe start with a color that works for me, this is pretty cliche. Maybe there's something better. I'm not going to worry about that now. That's up to you. But you can go in here and customize. That cyan is basically a blue color, right? So that will drive your amount of blue or cyan in your color mix. Magenta, we know that sort of deep pink kind of color, and that'll control that. Essentially, your reds, your yellows will be determined by this slider, and your black here. Okay. So you can see really quickly that you have a lot of room here for even subtle changes that make a big difference, okay? So you're gonna go in here and decide where you want to have all these values placed based on your exact color you're going for. Now again, the trick is, remember that just because this thing looks like this on my screen, it's not gonna look like that when I print it, okay? So I would suggest printing this with the best possible setting you can, and on some good paper. Okay, it's going to be much more vibrant. Otherwise, if you print on your basic, copier paper, and you print on your cheapy printer, it's fine, but it's going to look a lot darker, probably a lot muddier. Okay, but at least a basic home printer, if you at least have good paper and you have the ability to change your settings, to a higher setting. For example, if I was going to print this on mine, and I went to File, Print, it's just Command P. I could go here and I would have this is just my home printer, my Epson Artisan 1430. I would go into my page setup. I'd make sure that it's my Artisan 1430 is already set to a US letter, which is what the size is. That's all good. I'm going to go into my Setup tab here. I'm going to hit continue, and I'm going to go into my drop down here, and I'm going to go to print settings, and see it's going to default here to just normal plain paper. Okay, I use the premium presentation mats, or the ultra premium presentation mat. For this would be fine for me. So when I select this premium paper, it's going to give me a print quality that's higher. So I'm going to select photo RPM. I never use photo. Is going to be a good rich color. So I would select that photo setting, or whatever the highest setting is on the printer you have, and I would hit print from there, okay? And then I would double check it. In an ideal situation, I would double check it and make sure the colors are representative, based on my choices. And when I look at them, I go, okay, that feels right. If not, then I would have to go in here and adjust. If it's too dark, I might have to say, well, I'm gonna have to take some of this black out of here for sure, okay? Because that's probably gonna muddy it up too much. And do I want to bring the cyan down here a little bit? Okay, maybe the magenta a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to print again. And this is, ideally I have all my colors already applied, and I'm going to go ahead then and print again if I have the luxury to do so, which is highly recommended. And I'm going to do those tests until I get my colors how I want them. That's how the print world works. That's the reality of it. Okay, once you have everything set up in here, and you're good to go, you have all your colors in place, all you're going to do is you're going to go to File, and you're going to go to Save As, and you're going to pick wherever you want to save it to, okay? And then you're going to hit Adobe PDF instead of, it'll probably default to that because you've opened it as a PDF. If you want to save it as an Illustrator file, and then, so you always have that file, that's fine. It's probably not necessary because this PDF should be editable in Illustrator still. So just make sure that's PDF, hit save, and you're going to upload that PDF into the assignment in addition to your printing of it. Okay, so we will look at the print and I will grade the print, but I also want to have the PDF submitted in Canvas, so we have it as a reference there on screen too, and then I can compare and contrast. Okay, But the ideal situation is that your print is where you want it, because I will be grading it based on your printed piece, not on your PDF. Okay. Any questions at all? Please let me know, and look forward to seeing your selections.